the time. Say hello. Who was that? Well, it's Tuesday night. We're going to be doing our live cooking class tonight. If I look tired, it's because I am. We had a party last night, 4 a.m. Too bad you guys weren't there. But we're still here. We're still live. We're still boogieing it, right? Yes. She looks happy right now. 4 a.m. she wasn't so happy, but that's all right. So, I'm going to pass her off to Nevaeh and we're going to get going. Get to cooking. We're making country beef vegetable soup. There you go. We'll have fun with Sissy for a little bit. All right. I'm going to get this soup started and then we're going to talk about details. But just a quick reminder that if you have not taken me up on my pre-sale order of the cookbook, the link is down below. I'm going to be putting an order in. The sale ends tomorrow night. So for right now, you can get my cookbook for only $14. The cover is different because I had to switch publishers from Canada to the United States. But there's 230 recipes in here. It's the same recipes, same ingredients, same everything. But it's only $14. So think about birthdays and Christmas and all of that coming up. So anyway, the link is down below. Like I said, that sale's only good through tomorrow night. So check that on out. Let's get started. And then we're going to talk about, I made homemade ketchup today with Azure Standard's tomato powder. And I also canned up some mustard. And I'm going to let you guys know the price on that from Azure. So let's get to rolling though. I've pre-chopped some of this, but not all of it. So in the pan over here is 1 pound. You still can't see it, can you? 1 pound of ground beef. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over medium heat. And to this, I'm going to add, now this makes a huge pot. So if it's just you, you may want to like take all these ingredients in half. All right, so this is 2 pounds of ground beef. This is 1 huge Azure onion. It's probably worth 2 like regular Walmart or grocery store onions. That's all diced up nice. I used my little dicer. You can buy these at Walmart. But anyway, I just like it because it gets it super, super fine. So we're going to go ahead. This is on medium heat. We're going to get ready to saute this. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my garlic cloves, which I've already peeled the skins off. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put them into the chopper because it'll make them nice and small as well. There we go. So that was 5 cloves of garlic. It's going to go right on in. So just in case you're just now jumping on, we have 2 pounds, and this is a huge batch of soup. So if it's only you, take all of these ingredients in half. So into the pot, we have 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 yellow onion, 5 garlic cloves. That's all you've missed so far. Okay, next ingredient are bell peppers. These are from my garden, so I've just chopped them up into chunks, and I'm also going to use the chopper for this as well. If you are live, I keep seeing that people are jumping on and they're jumping back off. So I have my Wi-Fi on. I'm pretty sure I'm coming through clearly. I'm hoping I am. I'm just going to go ahead and chop these up. And if you ever buy one of these choppers, you're going to want to make sure you lay the skin up towards you when you go to chop them. I hope I'm coming through clearly. All right. I just love this because it makes chopping so much faster. All right, I'm going to dump it. I just love the smell of fresh green bell pepper. All right. Almost done. There we go. Okay, so that was 3 garden fresh green bell peppers, but obviously you could just use 3 from the store. And we're done with the chopper, so I'm going to put it away over here into the sink. Okay, so now we're going to be waiting for this to simmer. Let me find myself a spoon. We want this ground beef obviously to cook, and then we're going to add some of the rest of the ingredients. So I'm just kind of mashing up the ground beef as it is. One of my jars just sealed over there. I gotta go see if it was a ketchup or a mustard. Hang on. Ah, it is ketchup. Oh, a mustard sealed. So, while we're waiting for that to simmer, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my ketchup and my mustard. Everybody must be busy tonight. There's nobody on. So today I canned up mustard. If you're on Instagram, I made like a little Instagram short, or whatever it's called over there, not short, reel over there, on my mustard. So what I did, and I did this last year as well, it works really, really good, is I buy a whole gallon of organic yellow mustard from Azure Standard. The price that I got this last time, which was yesterday, was like $18 and a few pennies for a whole gallon. And then all you do is wash your jars, you fill them with your mustard, okay? And then you just water bath can them for, is it 10 minutes? No, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Pull them out and they're good to go. So I've had a war with, I was reusing some of these Azure, like, jars that I bought Azure stuff in. And they weren't sealing, so I've actually water bathed these exact jars 3 times, but this one just sealed, so I'm super happy. But I'm doing this because when you buy a gallon of organic yellow mustard and you separate it out like this, a normal mustard container is like 8 ounces, okay? So it's like half of one of these. So what ended up happening was I got 8 pints, but I actually got some extra. So I think I probably could have made 9 pints, but I only calculated it with 8 pints. So if you get 8 pints of yellow mustard, the price per 8 ounces of mustard is like $1.17 for 8 ounces of organic mustard. So it's super cheap. Great way to save money. I did them in pints because then you can open them and store them into the refrigerator. They'll still get there's vinegar in there. But it's a super good project just to get it out of the way because this is a year's supply of mustard for my family. And it didn't take that long except for fighting with the with the jars to seal some of them today. But I'm so happy this one's sealed. So keep that in mind. Azure Standard, $18 for a gallon of mustard. And then you can just water bath can them for 15 minutes in new jars with new lids. And have like a year's supply of mustard for your family. And like I said, the cost comes down to, for one of these little 8 ounce containers, $1.17 or 15 for organic mustard. So super good way to save some money in a world where we're all looking to do that. So then the next project I had, where is it at? Hang on a second. The next project I did to save money was I bought Azure Standard's tomato powder. If you haven't bought this yet and you're ordering from Azure Standard, you should really, really try it. First of all you do is add water to this, and it makes tomato sauces, tomato juice, tomato paste. It's just different ratios of how much water you're adding. The reason why this is such a good deal, well, is because it's cheaper. If you calculate out a 15 ounce jar of organic tomato sauce versus making your own with this, it's like way cheaper. So I haven't done the math this year, but last year when I did the math, I think it was like around, what was it, like 90 cents or something for a a big old 15-ounce jar of tomato sauce. So don't quote me on that, but the price has gone up like everything else. But anyway, I use this to make ketchup. And I know, I'm going to stir this pot over here because it's simmering. I know several of you guys have bought this and you've been waiting for me to make a video on how to use it. And I was going to record, I really was, but I didn't want to record it without knowing what it was going to turn out. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to list off the ingredients to my homemade ketchup using the tomato powder. And you guys can write it down tonight, okay? And then I'm going to calculate how much this ketchup cost me. So first of all, I used the 1.5-pint size jars. The reason why is this is 24 ounces and this fits in a ketchup bottle. Last year I canned it in quarts, and there was like a cup or so left in the bottom of that quart, and it got shoved around inside the refrigerator until it molded. So I have these jars, and these jars irritate me so bad because I don't ever can things that I just need a quart, you know? And so this is a 1.5 pints. And so my daughter said to me today, Mom, why don't you just use the 1.5 pints jars for ketchup? Genius, right? Okay, so I'm going to read you the recipe for ketchup using the tomato powder. And then next week when I am live, I'll let you guys know how much it was per container. So, where did I put it? Uh-oh. There it is. Okay, so tomato powder, here we go. So this made, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 1.5 pint size jars. Ketchup. So, first ingredient, tomato powder from Azure Standard. 5 cups of tomato powder. And all I did was put all of these things into a large stock pot, warmed it up, had hot jars, right? Hot jars, and then put it into a hot water bath canner. And you're just water bath canning. Again, that one's only a 10-minute water bath can, okay? So 5 cups of tomato powder. Then we've got 25 cups of filtered water, okay? All into a big stock pot. 3 tablespoons of onion powder. 1 2/3 cups of sugar. Yes, it has sugar in it, but like I said, I made 11 of these and it only has 1 2/3 cup of sugar in, you know, for all of it. So it's not very much sugar. You could swap it out with honey. I just never have. Next ingredient is 1 1/4 cup of vinegar. This is white vinegar. I do it 50-50. So I do 1 1/4 cup white vinegar, 1 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar. And that's because I've done it all apple cider vinegar and my kids didn't like it. It was just too pungent, so I do 50-50. Next ingredient on homemade ketchup. 1/4 cup of healthy salt, so you want pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt. I'm going to give our recipe a stir again here. It's sauteing. And I will repeat ingredients, you guys, for those of you who just jumped on, okay? So just hang with me and I'll tell you guys tonight's ingredients again. Okay, so next ingredient on homemade ketchup is 2 1/3 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed, and 1/2 teaspoon of mustard, like, you know, the powdered mustard. And I just, like I said, I warmed it up on the stove in a stock pot and filled my hot jars, water bath can for 10 minutes. And ta-da, you have ketchup that is amazingly smooth, just like Heinz ketchup. It tastes delicious. And that's that. So, there you go. You have a recipe without watching a huge video. And I'm also going to try and remember to timestamp this video so that if you want to come back and get this ingredient list again, you can. Okay, so let's update everybody who's on now who wasn't on when we started. So just a quick reminder, the sale on the cookbooks, $14 a cookbook, is only good through tomorrow night. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, the link's down below. Next, you ready? All right, for those of you who are a little late to the class, that's all right. We're going to repeat what we got going on in here. So this is going to make a very big pot of soup. So if it's only you or like a family of 4 or something, you're going to want to have all of the ingredients tonight. Okay, so the first ingredient is 2 pounds of ground beef, which is what I'm cooking in here. And then Ooh, that's dark too, isn't it? All right, must be just too dark outside. And then we put in 1 huge yellow onion. And we put in, let's see, 1 onion. We put in 6 garlic cloves and 2 bell peppers that are green. You could use red if you wanted. And I'm just sauteing this until the meat's cooked, and then we're going to go to the next step. And the ingredients that you guys jumped on while I was saying, those don't go to this soup. It goes to homemade ketchup. And like I said, I'm going to try and remember to timestamp this video so that you guys can go back and find exactly what you want. Okay, so this is simmering. While this is simmering, I'm actually going to be chopping a little bit more. I had Nevaeh go out to the garden and grab some celery. I am finding that even though my garden was what I consider a fail, I have so much food out there still, which is so nice. I had Grayson go out and harvest the onions today, and the ones that were knocked over, I have some huge onions, bigger than Azure onions, and I've never had that in my life, so I'm so proud of myself that I was finally able to grow big onions. I've been gardening for 10 years, you guys, and my biggest onion was like this big. Need like 10 of them in this soup right here. So anyway, this is our celery for tonight. It's 5 stalks of celery. And it rained today, so the celery should be nice and full of liquid. Ah, so fresh. I'm just going to start adding it to the pot because the meat's almost done over there. I actually feel really good about having all of my condiments done for the year. So that's pretty big for our family. And like I said, I did that whole process with the mustard. I got that price down to $1.15 last year as well. It's probably even less last year because prices have gone up on everything. But it just feels good to have it on the shelf. You know you have mustard. You don't have to buy it for the rest of the year. And it's a simple water bath process, so it's not hard at all. So I'm going to see if I have some scissors I can use to cut there we go, cut the leaves. I love to incorporate the leaves into my soups when I am doing this fresh. If I'm preserving celery, I actually make celery salt with the leaves. If you want to know how to do that, I do have a video up here on how to do it. It's super easy. But for tonight, we're going to go ahead and just chop the celery leaves into the soup. It just adds a bunch of flavor. Five stalks of celery, in case you guys didn't write that down. My canner's on the back burner away from you there. Because if those last 3 jars of mustard don't seal, I'm going to be canning after the show again because I want to get them done. I don't know why they're not sealing. It's driving me nuts. I've checked my rim. There's no cracks. I've checked my lids. They're brand new. I've made sure that the rings are pressing the lids down enough. You know, so it's seal and all that's where it should be, and I don't understand. So, yeah. It's my war with the I'm so frustrated with the yellow mustard today. The ketchup seems to be sealing without a problem. If I mess my words up tonight, guys, it's because I'm really tired. Naomi was up at 4 a.m. this morning. I'm not sure why. We did have a storm come through, but it wasn't, I mean, I don't think it would have woke her up. But anyway, she woke up at 4 a.m. and just wanted to be awake, but really didn't want to be awake. I don't know if you guys have ever had a child do that before, but it's like they want to be up, but they don't want to be awake. And so they just scream at you. Yeah. So that was my night between like 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. And so I'm kind of dragging because I'm up with her anyway to feed, you know, through the night. And yeah. So if I mess up my words, that is why, because this mama is tired. All right, we're going to move you back on in on this. Going to give it a stir. The ground beef is now cooked. All right. We're going to add some more ingredients to this pot here. We are going to add a whole gallon of stock of your choice. I just so happen to have chicken stock from making stock this, like last night overnight. So instead of canning this, I'm just going to put it in. If you have beef stock, that would probably be a more appropriate flavor with ground beef, but I don't think it's really going to matter. All right, so it's a whole gallon of broth. We are going to add, where did I put it? 1 tablespoon of paprika. I need to fill my spice shakers. I just keep putting it off. I just keep putting it off and just like shoving them back, you know. I'll get to filling those up, and then I never do, and then I just live out of these bags, which is hilarious. But Samantha, if you're watching this, it's time for you to come over and fill my spice containers. It's been a few years now. All right, so we've got 1 tablespoon of paprika. You could use smoked paprika if you want a smoky flavor, but I just usually do regular paprika. All right, next ingredient is 1 tablespoon of oregano. I'm just gonna guess. There we go. 1 tablespoon of basil. These came straight from our garden last year. I actually found a 5-gallon bucket with some spices that have been, what's the word, vacuum sealed. And they were from last year, so I was like, oh, my garden did really, really well last year. I actually had herbs to share. Not so good this year, though. Only because I've neglected it. That's the only reason why. Okay, then we need 2 bay leaves. I'm going to have to reach up here and grab them. So I'm going to move you guys back just a little bit while I reach up. Oh, jeez. This basil, hang on. It's way on the end. Silly me. Okay, there they are. Bay leaves. We're going to add 2 of them to our pot. It's been a while since I've made something with bay leaves. It has dust all over it. Winter's coming, though. All right, 2 bay leaves. And then this pot has a variety of things in it. You can put whatever you want. If you're in a rush, and you can eat corn without a problem, you could totally use mixed vegetables and some potatoes. This is the GAPS version. So, this has, okay, well, I'm going to tell you first, if you could have corn, what you could put in. You could put in 2 cups of corn, 2 cups of peas, 2 cups of green beans, or like I said, replace all of that with like 6 cups of mixed vegetables. And then you bring about 3 pounds of potatoes. So instead, this is low carb, low to no starches, and it is 2 cups of peas, 2 cups of green beans, and then I chopped up, I had a friend that went on a vacation. Lynn, if you're watching, these are yours. These are chopped up radishes, okay? Because radishes, when you cook them in soup, they take on the flavor of the soup, so it's not going to taste like a radish. And then these are the rutabagas from Azure Standard. So I just weighed them out and got 3 pounds total between both of them. And this is going to go right into the soup. And like I said, if you can have corn, you would be adding your sweet corn here or mixed vegetables. Just going to give it a stir. All right, another ingredient. This is tomato sauce. I made this once again using Azure Standard's tomato powder. What I have found works best is 1 cup of Azure Standard's tomato powder and 5 cups of water. The back of their package says 1 cup of powder and 4 cups of water, but I just find that that's more like a paste. It's just too thick for what we're used to anyway. So this is 6 cups of tomato sauce. We have to get a scraper here. Hang on. It's been raining here, so I have been taking on my canning projects. We have been out of ketchup for like literally like 2 months. And I just finally got inspired this morning. I woke up and I was like, that's it. I'm canning mustard. I'm getting it on the shelf. And I am canning ketchup. So I feel much better having that done. Just going to give this a good stir. Oops. Okay, that is the entire meal right there. So I'm going to turn this up on high so it can come to a boil. Then I'll reduce down to medium heat until everything is soft and ready to eat. And then that's dinner right there. Hard to believe it was that easy, but it totally is. The only thing that I would probably add to this that I didn't write down was salt. So I'm probably going to do what's the equivalent of, it's a lot of soup. We're going to do a tablespoon of salt for this recipe. Sometimes my recipes don't have salt on them, but they definitely need them. And of course, when I say salt, I mean healthy salt. So this is pink Himalayan salt. You could also use a Celtic sea salt that's gray. You just don't want to use the white table salt. The reason why is because your body needs the minerals that are in the colored part of the salt. And when they strip all those out and just hand you the white salt, your body has an issue with it because it doesn't have everything it needs to be able to handle salt properly. So make sure it's healthy salt. Okay, so that's it. That was so easy. Does anybody have any questions? Do we need ingredients over again? Are we doing okay? That's that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I was going to say one more thing, but I don't remember what it was. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Just a reminder, though, on the cookbooks, that link's down below. And if you need one, pick it up for only 14 bucks. So that's only good through tomorrow night. It is a pre-order sale, so you're going to pay me. And like I said, tomorrow I plan on making the order for the cookbooks. And then they'll be shipped to me, and then I'll ship them to you. So it's on sale for $14. You pay shipping. It comes out $20 even for the whole thing. So I hate that I missed the salt talk. I was just wondering about the pink salt. Okay, so that's okay. I'll repeat it. It's so important, okay? I don't mind at all. Thank you for asking a question. That's great. Okay, so when it comes to salt, the reason why colored salt of any kind is better than white table salt is because the color that's inside the salt are minerals that help your body handle salt and be able to utilize it properly without having things like swelling, what's the other one? High blood pressure, any of that sort of thing. It's usually because the person is eating white table salt. And what white table salt is colored salt that they've stripped all those minerals out of and then just kind of handed it to you. So you want pink Himalayan salt. You could do, there's a company that's called Real Salt. They make amazing tasting salt. That's looks like a pink Himalayan. It's out of Utah though. And then you could do Celtic sea salt. That's like a gray color. Sometimes that Celtic sea salt looks white, but if you put it next to table salt, you'll definitely see that it's indeed not white. But that's the reason why you want colored salt in your diet. If you're going to be consuming anything, even like French fries that you're going to make at home, you should be coating them in colored salt. So that's why that is. See, any other questions? Oh, I was going to say too, that ketchup recipe, what I ended up doing was I went into my cookbook because I have a homemade Heinz ketchup recipe in my cookbook. I have a whole canning section. So if you are someone who is like trying to get into canning and preserving some of your own food, a lot of these are water bath canning recipes, which means you just need a big pot for your stove and some water, and you could totally do this. You don't have to buy a pressure canner. Anyway, those recipes are inside my cookbook. I have a whole section, even like homemade cranberry sauce. So anyway, this recipe that I gave you guys tonight for the homemade ketchup is Heinz ketchup. And basically all I did was I swapped the whole onions out for a powder. And then the really rough calculation that I had to figure out that I was unsure if I got it right was converting like fresh tomato type, paste tomatoes to the Azure Standard tomato powder. But like I said, I totally nailed it. I love it. It's okay. It was empty to begin with. on, honey. Is she done? Yes. Okay, bring her on over. Anyway, so I just converted it. So, yeah, there's lots of good canning recipes in here. I did see one more comment. So, let me see what that is. Here. You're welcome. Oh, nice. Real salt does not have sufficient iodine. That's why I was asking. Okay, so no salt is going to have sufficient iodine. I hate to tell you that. I know why you're doing it, and you're doing it for the right reasons. But if you look into the thyroid and all of the radiation that we have around us, 5G, Wi-Fi, our cell phones, X-rays. What's wrong, baby girl? All of those things are pulling on your thyroid, and so you actually our civilization has never needed more iodine than what it does right now. So unfortunately, most likely you will not be able to get all of your iodine from your salt. You can look into like supplementing with kelp, like a kelp powder, but just because we're so exposed to so much radiation, the chance that your salt's going to have enough iodine is not very good. So, sorry to break your boat there, but you do still want colored salt for the minerals. I have been down a long road with my thyroid, and that's how I learned all of this. So, yeah, look into the thyroid and its need for iodine and things that affect the thyroid, which drives your iodine demand up, okay? Is that it? Is that it? Are you hungry? Mama's making the soup. Yeah, so, and a lot of people want to start supplementing with iodine, okay? But don't just do that without knowing what you're doing. If you buy the book, The Iodine Crisis by Lynn Farrow, she has a step-by-step way to introduce iodine to your body. Super important that you know this because iodine pushes out things like fluoride, and a lot of us have drank stuff with fluoride in it. It also flushes out bromide, and bromide is in store-bought bread. It used to be iodine in store-bought bread, but then they just switched it out with bromide because the body takes it just like iodine, but it doesn't feed the body the way it should. So just so you know, look into that book, The Iodine Crisis. Don't just start taking iodine without at least reading part of that book and her little protocol that's in there to do it safely, because you can make yourself very, very sick. But yes, look into all of that. Also, if you get on WestonAPrice.org, they have recordings on there. I think the price is like $30-ish range. And they had one back in 2017 or 2018 at their conference. Her name is Rhonda Nelson. That's where I learned a ton of my stuff. And she's a practitioner out on the West Coast, out in Oregon, at least she was. And she talks in there and walks you through the whole thing, how iodine plays into everything. And that's super important because a lot of people are walking around with anxiety issues and panic attacks and all of these things, and it's because as a society we don't get enough iodine, and it's been allowed to go further up the chain in your organs from your thyroid. So it's so important, such important information for everybody to know. Are you ready to go? You're so sad. Look at that pretty baby though. Who is that? Oh. Yes, Jackie, you can totally divide that recipe up by 11, and then just use the, what is this, a pint and a half. It'll fill 1 pint and a half. I didn't like simmer it at all. I just warmed it up and then canned it. So there's no cooking, there's no reducing. It's just done. It's so fast. Wow, you are a source of knowledge. Yes, thank you. I just put the book on hold on the app while you were talking. It's a really good book. Yeah, we're definitely in an iodine crisis, and we have fertility issues, which is also linked right in with the thyroid. It's just crazy how being deficient in an essential nutrient that we were never taught about can cause so many issues for so many people in our society. And it was causing me issues when we tried to get pregnant with baby number 3. She's baby number 6. But I could not get pregnant, and I couldn't figure out why. The other 2 came so easy, and number 3 just was not happening. And at that time, I went to an herbalist who ended up figuring out that I had problems with my thyroid. So there. Ha. And at first I was supplementing with just kelp. I was swallowing like 12 capsules a day, and that was enough for a couple of babies. But then, you know, you fast forward 5-6 years, more and more and more radiation in our home and on my cell phone, and I actually had to switch to a pill source of iodine, just because of the exposure that's everywhere. Hi. She's kind of fussy. It's been like a really, really rough 24 hours. Are you tired again? It's not 4 a.m. party thing, honey. None of these people were at the party, but you and I were at the party at 4. What was happening at 4 a.m.? All right, well, I better go, guys, before she lets loose and her little red hair shows here. But you guys have a great night, and I'm going to try and remember to timestamp this video for the ketchup recipe, so you guys can go ahead and find that. All right, you guys have a good night. Oh, it's okay.